We will be talking about my arrests. I will give some details, though not full details, both for other people's privacy and for my own legal reasons. I will try to explain what has happened this morning. Apparently, I'm such a terrible threat to society that I'm allowed to freely roam about, so put that in perspective. Yes, I was arrested for piracy, actually. I attempted to steal a fishing trawler because I wanted to go after some Venezuelans. Didn't go over so well. The Coast Guard stopped the ship, and then I got drawn up at the assizes. I'm just joking. There's a very funny picture of me being led away by the cops, though, from this morning, so we will talk about that. Again, though, if I'm such a violent, terrible, crazy person, they wouldn't have not even given me bond. They just released me right away. There's a reason for that. I will go through the charges and without naming names or any terribly specific details, I will give you more information. I pled not guilty. I maintain my non-guilt. I will explain to the extent that I can explain without potentially hazarding my legal case. We'll put it that way. Yep, do me. Never put your dick in crazy. I strongly recommend that people be more choosy about the people they choose to associate with. Let's put it that way. I've learned my lesson well. My dad probably said it best. I'm very intelligent, but sometimes I lack common sense. Yeah, that's probably that's a vigorous summation of my particular character. Because again, I have a feeling there's really only one thing on people's minds today in regards to Styxhexendom. And I'm sure that all the Kiwis over there are happily watching this particular live stream. Trying to find things to chuckle about. I did find it funny. Some people were like, oh my god, it's picture and footage of pirate being arrested. It's hysterical. Yeah, it was pretty funny. I'm like, come on, dude. I was rolling my eyes the entire time because I'm like, can't I fucking catch a break? Leave me alone. I write books. I make videos, and live streams, of course, as I'm doing right now. I do not offer anyone any harm. I am not interested in violence or retaliation and stuff like that. If anything, my major sin has been being too kind and generous and refusing to defend myself. It's happened before, actually. Yeah, it was a pretty long and drawn-out, boring process, as always. If you've ever been to court, the waiting is the hardest part. It's funny, actually. I was singing that in the cell, because it had good acoustics. I mean, hey, there are some advantages to being in a holding cell. But then the song was the first one to come on. When I got back into the car to come back home, it was the same song, and I'm like, oh, memetics is not real. Not in any way, shape, or form. Fireproof, yes. No good deed goes unpunished. Trust me, that figures heavily in this particular saga. Have a little bit of sympathy and some grace, because when I tell you the limited details I can tell you, I think that you will understand that I am indeed being persecuted. For example, I am now up on 3 charges. One is a violation of a restraining order. Another one is aggravated assault. Class 1, by the way. I think this is the highest level misdemeanor you can achieve before it becomes an outright felony, actually. And the third was reckless endangerment. All 3 of these I will explain before the court, and I am confident that the case will be entirely dropped, because they are completely nonsensical. Let me ask you a rhetorical question. If you're paying someone's rent, and wrangling their kids for them at times, and you gave them a car, and you cook for them, and you spend nights at their house, do you believe that the other person, the one that's doing these things, is likely to be judged by the other person as particularly violent, dangerous, or insane? Probably not. A sensible person probably would not believe that. As far as the other charges, they're just facetious. It's nonsense, actually. So I'm going to cut it to pieces in court. I've got a good lawyer, and we're going to go from there. It is ridiculous. Utterly fucking ridiculous. And again, The fact that a case against me gets dismissed one day, and literally less than 24 hours from then, I get arrested again. No, this is a total coincidence. The two things aren't related at all. It's almost like somebody doesn't like me. Yeah, let that sink in again. So, yeah. I'm not going to be using any names. I'm not really going to talk more about the case or anything like that. It's really not necessary for me to do so, you know. It's pointless. So, I'm not going to be retaliating against anyone or anything like that. I'm still reading up on the farms a little bit. It's pretty funny. It's gone nuts, actually. This is a common occurrence, though, there. I mean, basically, some people dwell on drama. And so, you know, that's basically, fucking, you know, the only thing that they do. It must be sad, actually. I do like the memes that are being generated. That's kind of funny. But, I'm not going to be talking much about it. I know that people would love to be, you know, regaled with all sorts of e-drama. Really, that's just not my forte. Also, there is one other thing I would like to address. The mess in my house. That's a former garage. It's used as a storage space. No shit, it's messy. It has the cat boxes and the recycling bins and things like that. It's a messy room. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes there's some persecution that goes on. It's like, when I was younger, I thought, like, oh, the cops are the good guys, and then, you know, these other people are the bad guys. I've quickly realized that the justice system, not necessarily the cops, they were all kind, they were all respectful and courteous, unlike down in New Orleans. I realized that the justice system doesn't really exist to create justice. It exists to create money, more than anything else. Sigil, so what's with the picture of you being arrested by a cop that looks like Tim Pool? That new, or is it from the case you just beat? And, yeah, they're salty as fuck. Yeah, they expected me to be in manacles at the moment. They expected me to spend, you know, a significant amount of time in prison because they don't know anything about how the legal system works. Believe it or not, if the judge determines you are not a threat to your surroundings, and I'm not a violent person, I do not do that sort of thing, then generally speaking, you don't even get a bond. They just let you go, and it's like, you know, you're not a flight risk or anything like that, and that was what the judge said, and then you have to go back for your trial date and stuff like that. And I'm going to. I have no intention of backing down. I have no intention of not fighting the case. Valst, you're a boat risk, though. Yeah, I mean, trying to steal that frigate was probably not the right thing to do. You know, the Coast Guard got us, and, you know, me and me mateys were drawn up at the assizes. They might hang us at the docks. It's probably a bad thing. That's a long fall with a tight rope. Yeah, I know that there are some people that don't like me that are having great joy in this. Okay. Kelby Heisenberg, did you see Ghost was celebrating the arrest? No, actually I didn't. And there's a certain individual who, without my consent or knowledge, actually posted the arrest video. And that's legally a problem in a two-party consent state like Vermont. Just saying. Just saying, somebody is going to get in a little bit of trouble. Tim Whiting, exactly. The process is the punishment. When they make you wait around for 10 hours to do any goddamn thing, that's pretty much the punishment. They try to preemptively punish people these days. Red flag laws, waiting around in courtrooms, having to pay for lawyers and stuff like that. The system is rigged against you, so be careful. Be very careful who you date. Be very careful who you associate with. It's, you know. Oscar Gonzalez, someone getting served legal documents soon. Very possible. Yep, it's extremely possible that someone's going to get a few pieces of paper to their name fairly soon. In fact, there are 3 different individuals that are probably going to be getting something in the mail pretty soon. It's going to be very interesting. Yeah, I got one of the officers to laugh at a Fifth Element reference, again, when he asked my ethnicity, and I said I was a meat popsicle. He got the reference. He thought this was hysterical. I'm going to handle the case myself. Not going to make that a big channel thing. Yes, I got arrested. Yes, I'm under criminal charges. Do I expect to prevail in this case? Yes, I do. Otherwise, I'd be shitting my pants, I suppose. Balthazar, name drop the X-Sticks, make her life hell. Nope, not gonna happen. Here's the problem. I am too forgiving and generous. So I don't believe in violence or doxing people or stupid shit like that other people engage in. I will talk about the case in vague terms, but I'm not name-dropping anyone. I believe in privacy. I have more ethics and morals than the average person, which is extremely ironic, because to have less ethics and morals than Lucifer is quite interesting, actually. Is this an intel psyop to get you off the internet? No, it's gay ops, but it's not a government psyop, no. It is gay ops, though. I can assure you of that. Yeah, that sort of thing happens. It's just a pile of bullshit. Somebody gets pissed off, they make a bad decision, decide to come at you, even though you're, trying to help them. This happens all the time. It's happened before to me. But, no, I'm not going to be name-dropping anyone or anything like that. I'm not going to discuss anything particularly important about the case until the case is done. It's unwise legally. It's also disrespectful, and I like my well-earned politesse, so to speak. And number 3, it's just retarded. Getting into a shitting match online is not going to accomplish anything. I don't have to sway the court of public opinion. I can tell you that I pled not guilty, and that I hold to my non-guilt, and beyond that I can only give you vagaries. It would be retarded to do otherwise. That's just the way that I am. No other way. Exactly, Dreamology. Never say shit when you've got a case. If I say that I pled not guilty, that's public record. If I say that I deny the charges, that's public record. If I say that there are problems with the charges that are blatantly obvious, that's on the record. I've already explained this to my lawyer. But I'm not going to name drop anyone. I'm not throwing anyone under the bus, even if they deserve it. That's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. But, yeah, I'm not interested in, insulting other people online. If other people are interested in that, I do like insulting other people online, but not people that I know in person, especially not when there's a pertinent legal case. So, yeah, that will remain in the legal realm. I have explained the basic premise of the case, but beyond that, I'm not going to explain anything. I'm allowed to speak of the case. I am not allowed to speak to at least one person involved with it, and so I won't. And nor do I wish to name drop her or anything like that. I'm not interested in these sorts of things. I like to try to help people. That's apparently my sin is trying to help people too much. I spend, half of a lifetime trying to spread knowledge and liberty and trying to make sure other people don't get homeless and stuff like that. And this is what I get in response. This is what I get as a reward for my hard work. It's very funny, actually. Kinda. But, no, other people can talk about other third-party individuals. I can't stop you. But that doesn't mean that I have to engage in such behavior. It's not necessary. No, hey, it's not bond conditions. I can say whatever I want about the case. It's just retarded to do so. Yeah, here. I've got a pending legal case against me that could land me in prison for several years. Why don't I talk about it on YouTube? Yay! That's a great idea, right? No, it's not a great idea. I could explain the entirety of the case, and most of you that are, criticizing me, most of you would be on my side, I believe, after I explained it. But it would be meaningless. That doesn't mean anything in a court of law. I don't give a shit if a bunch of YouTubers say, hey, release the man. Maybe someone fills up your commissary when you get fucking found guilty. Shut your mouth when you have a legal case. You can explain it in brief. Don't name drop people. Don't give specifics. That is very, very unwise. Any reasonable lawyer, unless they're from the voodoo school of Haitian law or something, maybe then they'd say, oh yeah, it's a great idea to talk about this. If it's a competent lawyer, someone who passed the bar exam, they're always going to tell you, speak as little as possible. So that's what I'm going to do. Have you worn a Sonnenschein medallion or Baldo lately? No, actually. It is impossible to curse me. All the people that dislike me seem to be occult tyros obsessed with astrology and tarot cards and stuff like that, so I don't really fear that. Anyway, I mean, it is what it is. Sometimes you have to roll with the punches in life. You know, I think that there are people that would miss me when I'm gone, so to speak, but, you know, some people lack self-control. It's all good. But I'm not going to, no, I'm not interested in, you know, drama online or anything like that. It's just a weird case. Let's put it that way. I was looking at the case files. I mean, what's been compiled so far. I was shaking my head. I'm like, what the fuck is even going on here? Don't even understand this. And then when I heard the backstory from the officer, I was like, then I was even more flummoxed, actually. Again, there's a reason why they released me on my own recognizance. They know that I'm not going to flee anywhere. They know that I'm not a threat to anyone around me. They're aware of this fact. If I really was murderous and violent and depraved and insane, do you think in a million years they would let me go without any bond at all? They didn't even file a bond. The court's like, whatever, go on your merry business. Then I had to walk because they took my phone, right? So keep in mind it's Vermont. It's the middle of December. So it is cold. I had to walk back from the courthouse all the way to home, freezing my ass off. I'm just glad that I dress this way every day so I had the extra layer on. I was wearing, you know, I wear my robe underneath the jacket because I get cold easily. If I hadn't had that on, I don't know if I could have even made it home without fucking collapsing at that point. Because keep in mind, you know, I've been, you know, laying there for fucking 9 hours and shit like that. Again, the process is the punishment. So it was a very, very interesting time. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to speak really anything more about the case. I may reiterate those particular points, but I realize that some of the people that are tuned in right now are quite literally just looking for things to bitch about or, you know, to shitpost about. I'm well aware of that fact. I'm not fucking stupid. I do actually, you know, see the things that people post online. So, yeah. No, inner city pigeon, that is impossible because the case was filed weeks before. Actually? No, it was simply actioned on because the other case fell through. If you can't nail someone that you hate on one charge, you bring up another one. It's persecution. It's as clear as day. Now, less than 24 hours between the decision and the arrest. Now, the total coincidence. I mean, come on. Jay Ricketts, you will deal with this for the rest of your life, whether found guilty or not. Yes, I'm aware. Now, you gotta understand, if you simply get charged with a crime, even if you're found not guilty of it, I mean, like with the last case, it was outright dismissed. It wasn't, hey, we find you not guilty. It was, we can't even proceed to trial. It's not fucking guilty at that point. But it's still there. I mean, the record of that case is still there. Prospective employers, people you'd rent from, and so forth. I'm very glad to be in a position where I don't have to worry about these things. I'm self-employed. I don't need to suck someone's cock in order to get rent paid or anything like that. And so, yeah, I'm in a relatively more fortunate position, and I feel very, very sad for all the people out there that have been falsely accused of crimes, and they've been dragged through the ringer. Can't afford a lawyer, fucking can't even talk to their own families. They're getting, 10 years in prison for something they didn't even do. I feel sorry for them. This has really opened my eyes to the so-called justice system, actually, more than anything else. I realize that the local cops are courteous, and I have no problem with them. Again, like the dude I cracked up with the Fifth Element reference. He's a cool dude. I've met him before, and not just when he's in uniform. I realize this, but the justice system, insofar of itself, really is unjust. That's just the way that it is. We have to labor under that. The legal system has not been perfected, so to speak. Many of you probably know exactly the same thing. You know, you got hauled in on charges and you're totally not guilty. You're like, what the hell is going on? But then you end up having to cut a plea deal because, you know, you're afraid or you don't have the money to fight back or something like that. They like to prey upon people with lesser means. It's just like when you have, you know, reduced capabilities, that's when your enemies try to attack you. Trust me, they're like a bunch of goddamn rabid wolves. One thing that I did miss out on is when I was being arrested, I really should have lapsed into pirate speech and started saying like, "Arr, mateys, they got me from the assizes," and, you know, stuff like that. Shouldn't have stolen that there frigate. Then it would have been 10,000 times more funny. But I was kind of busy at the moment, so I didn't really have my humor in me. My apologies. I missed a spectacular potential moment. I do admit. That would have been funny as fuck. Am I going to return to the quartering? At this point, probably not likely. If I get found not guilty on all counts, then I'd probably be a little bit more amenable. Yeah, I know. There were a lot of people that were expecting me not to show up at all. They expected me to be spending the night in jail. This did not happen. Believe it or not. There's a reason for that. When someone's not an imminent threat of running off or killing someone or something like that because they're clearly not a violent, insane individual and they're being respectful to the people around them, then you get a little bit more latitude. That's the other piece of advice. Be respectful to the judge. Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor. No, Your Honor. Stuff like that. I mean, I realize that it's just pomp and circumstance nonsense, but you still gotta be respectful. You're in their domain. When you are in someone else's house, offer them no insult. If you do, you're just asking for problems, my dude. Seriously, some people will come before the judge in a goddamn wife beater shirt and be like, "Yo, fuck you. Yo, why you talking me, nigga?" and stuff like that. That's not the way to do it. That's not a good idea. And then they wonder why they get, you know, remanded further and stuff like that. And they're like, "Hey, Judge, I fucking hate you. You're a piece of shit." Yeah, and, you know, Redneck Ralph shows up. I fucked my cousin the other day. This is not helpful to your legal case. Talking about your legal case in more than vague terms is also unhelpful. Mouthing off to the police when they are arresting you, which is what happened to me this morning, is also not helpful. You'd be surprised at how much more respectful they will be if you simply comply. Now, of course, you can resist if you want to. You may get killed in the process. But, yeah, if you're assuming your own innocence, it's probably best to just take the cuffs, really. Go along with it. Go with the flow. Say, "Look, you know, whatever. My lawyer will take care of it. Make sure to ask for your attorney. Don't talk too much to them unless your attorney is present. Make sure to consult with them first." It's just, I mean, this is standard reason. It's standard logic.